This is an interesting one, right? So this is going to be a mastermind forum type setup where me and Ruben are going to be talking about database management and follow-up, kind of really picking his brain to see the processes, the systems, the tools that he's using right now to stay top of the game, okay? And what I mean by open forum, there's going to be a lot of questions asked. Never hesitate to drop your question in the chat or raise your hand, okay? This is going to be a type conversation where you're going to be able to interact as you'd like, all right? So if you have any questions, if there's anything that's been burning you inside, feel free to shoot it our way because we're diving into it today. All right. Give us 2 more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Here. How's everybody's year going so far? Amazing. I love to hear it, Matt. Love to hear it. We're starting to see, we're seeing a little bit more of a buyer's, I'd say it's more of a balanced market, right? Like, because obviously if the home is really, really set up to go on the market, you know, it can still sell in the first week. But a lot of the cases, you know, especially during the PCS time, sellers don't have time. They don't have the effort to really be able to put into the home while still kind of coordinating this move. So if they don't do it correctly, we're seeing 30, 60 days, you know, 90 days. So buyers are still getting amazing deals. Like I just had a client get $29,000 in equity and we still got $7,000 in closing costs. And that's a VA deal. You know, with that equity, we were able to raise up the purchase price, get more in seller credits. We paid off a couple of his credit cards and then did a rate buy down. You know what I'm saying? You can't beat that. Not at all.
Yeah, we're telling, just for anybody to know, I think I heard this on some other EXP training, right? But it was when we go and we talk to sellers, we're talking to one tomorrow. We're gonna let them know, like, hey, this home, this is resale, not new construction. Yeah. Hey, this home has to be a deal or a diamond. That's the conversation.
I like
deal,
that.
Yep, a deal or a diamond. The diamond meaning it feels like a new construction. I feel like I come in here. We just got a due diligence repair request. I don't know for what it's called in different states, but the repair request. And it only had 2 items on it on our resale. 2 items from the buyers, right? But we're delivering diamonds because that's what the market is demanding. A deal meaning the seller's like, I ain't fixing nothing. Dude, we went by this one house. There was a dead cat in the driveway, right? Like it smelled really bad. And they were like, yeah, we're not going to fix it. I was like, it's got to be a deal. We got to lower this price because there ain't no one else but investors coming in here, you know? So it's a very easy thing for them to remember, deal or diamond. At least in this market, that's what we're seeing too.
Yeah. I do love that, man. I think that's something you can take away from here, deal, because it's easy, right? And it's super communicatable because that's where we're at in the market. Either we're going to sell really quick or we're going to have to buckle down.
Yep.
So, I love it.
And then we also send you could do it depending on the client. One client, we stopped doing it. But you could do it weekly or bi-weekly where we do it's just like from Canva, right? Who's got Canva in here?
We should all have Canva in here with
right. Yeah, that was kind of a setup. That was a softball question. We all got Canva Pro. So it's like 4 different things that we'll put on this picture that it's got our logo on it or whatever. And one of the things or the data points is absorption rate of that neighborhood. So we do remind them, like, it takes, like the last one we just sent out, 70 days right now for a home like yours to sell. So it's a reminder weekly or bi-weekly. So they're not sitting there like, why is nothing happening? It's like, we're doing what we can. Our goal is to beat the absorption rate, but unfortunately, this is still this is the market you have listed in. So there's also these reminders as well to tell people.
So guys, I think that's a great way to start off the conversation. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it today. Today we have Ruben Garcia. He is a fellow EXP agent. He is a team lead, okay? He has a robust downline. He has several years of experience, okay? He's going to be talking to us about database management and really follow up the real work in the job, guys, right? How is he able to be able to year over year be able to crush his goals, be able to stay on top of clients? And not only that, guys, but he publicly speaks. He speaks to schools. He uplifts our next generation with financial knowledge and also how to really be an entrepreneur. All right. More importantly, he's a father. More importantly, he's a kick-ass human being. Okay. So let's dive into it today, guys. Ruben, the first question I want you to kind of go over with us is, how did you get into real estate, and what do you feel like was some of the key factors that got you to this point today?
Thanks, man. Really nice words. So I really, really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this class about everyone who showed up here today. So I'm going to make this extremely quick. The reason I got into real estate is because I wanted out of my current situation. So at the time, I was a single father. I was on welfare. I was working at UPS, and I was going to school. And although I was at UPS for like 12 years, I started to realize, being a single father, that, oh man, we work during Christmas, which is the holiday that kids like. And I was like, man, I really want to be there for my kid. So I said, man, there's got to be another way out of here. And one of my buddies was like, you need to get into sales. And so I got into selling homes. That's really the only reason. I had zero love for homes or the market and I love everything now, but that was farther from the truth. There was no love for real estate. It was just a way out. And it worked. Yay. I quit UPS in about 10 months. So that was cool. And one of the key factors that's got me to this place is, and I was just talking to someone about this yesterday, pretty simple, not easy, right? For anyone who's ever heard that, simple, not easy, which is consistent. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. It's just being consistent, doing the boring work. I know you guys have heard this a bajillion times, but it's not sexy to say. And it's not like flashy, but it's just being consistent in reaching out to people and letting them know that you care. That's really I would say that has helped us, being consistent and showing people you actually do care. That's it.
All right. Well, I love that, man. And so when we're talking about the topic of database management, okay, real high level, really quickly, before we drill down into it, what does that mean to you? What does database management mean to you and to your team members?
Is this for everybody or just for me?
This is just for you. I want to set the context.
Okay. Yes. I'd like, so y'all type too. I want to know what you guys think what database management looks like. If you don't mind, type it in the chat.
Yeah.
So this is where it came from, man, dude, and guys and gals, for everyone here, it took me, I'm a fidgeter and I just found a Ninja Turtle. So if you see me fidget, I'm just fidgeting this thing. It took me about 5 years to even really build a database. So it took me a while to kind of figure this thing out, that it was important. So no worries, right? But what I started to figure out was, like, everyone said, go make contacts, go make contacts, go make contacts, go make contacts, go make 5, 10, 15, whatever the number was. And I was like, all right, cool. What's a contact? And I'll ask all y'all here, what's a contact? What do you guys think a contact is? You could go unmute or you could type.
Yeah.
What's a contact?
Let us know. Is it a 2-minute conversation? Is it just reaching out? Is it an email, guys? What do y'all think it is? Dive in here.
Joseph's got his hand up. Can I click that?
You might be able to. Let's see. All right, Joseph, you're unmuted. You're good to go.
I actually did it by accident, but I'll just say, I don't want to waste everybody's time. It's just a two-way conversation. You're talking about real estate. That's all.
Okay.
All right. What else? So what else is someone else's definition? Two-way conversation, talking about real estate. What else?
Yeah. I'm saying, honestly, in my opinion, it's really a substantial conversation, right? I feel like it's anything that kind of moves the needle forward. And I feel like that would even consider maybe not necessarily a real estate conversation, but something that builds credibility and familiarity.
Cool. I love that too.
Yeah.
What else for the others in the room?
Matt, jump in. Tell us what you think that looks like.
And you could type it, guys. If you don't want to get off mute, you could just type it.
I was typing it, but I'll unmute myself. So I actually have two other agents here with me, but
okay.
I view contact as being somebody where you have that meaningful conversation with them, and you stress, and it's embedded in their brain that you are the subject matter expert on real estate in the area. And at that point, they're either a future buyer or seller, but at the same time, they're also an asset that will articulate to their friends and family that, hey, I know this dude. He's going to square you the fuck away. You need to call him.
I like
So
that.
when I was dude, sick. By the way, that's probably the definition that needs to be, don't mark out any words. Use all the words that you use. And at the time, I was like, okay, well, each person has their own definition. And what I realized is that I needed to be able to communicate if I were to ever build a team at that time. This is where my mindset was. I needed to be able to communicate very quickly, like diamond or deal, of what a contact was. And so I said, and this goes back to database management. It's getting there. So I said, okay, what is a contact? Everyone's got their own definition. So I was asking around. Everyone's got their own definition. I said, all right, what I'm pulling out, for at least from everybody, and what would help me scale is 3 things. This is what a contact is. So if you're writing notes, I would write this for you, your agents, and for whoever else. Number 1 is database. So what does that mean? I need to add this person to my database. So one firm I was at, they were like, hand out cards. Those are contacts. In my life or my world, not really, right? Like they're going to throw away the card, or they're going to forget it, or they're going to make a paper airplane out of it, whatever it is. So number 1 being database, I need to get their name and number. I have to do that. That is the goal. I need to get their name and number first. Cool. We get database. Number 2 is notes. So, oh, look at that. He got a poker chip. How much is on that though? How much is that worth?
Nothing.
Keep it. Nah.
People don't throw them away.
Yeah, no, they're super cool, right? And they're fun to flick, like you're in the movies. But you got database, so we got to add them to the database. And one thing we'll do too is, like, somebody asks us for our card. This is for anybody who wants to hear this. I do this at EXPCon for agents. I'll kind of pat my pockets. I'll say, you know what? I don't have my cards on me, but let me get your number and I'll pass you my information. And boom, got their number. Because the goal is database first. That's number 1. We have to build out the database. Number 2 is notes. So where did I meet this person? What did we talk about? Did they tell me about their dog, their brother, sister, whatever? It doesn't even matter. Did they have a crazy looking beard? And it was a woman with a beard. Whatever it is, we need to write this stuff down so we remember this person. Ford is extremely important too, right? Who knows what Ford is besides Joseph? I know Joseph knows. I know Joseph.
Know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Awesome. So we're about to. Hey, Joseph, could you tell him? You'll be the teacher for here in a second.
All right, here we go. Family, occupation, and then dreams.
What's the R?
I'm trying to think of the R. I have a brain fart.
So it's all good. So
recreation.
Yep. So it's family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Okay. And this is, if you find yourself stuck in a conversation, ask them about their family. Occupation, ask them about work, or if they're prior military, right? R, recreation. So what do you like to do on your spare time? D, dreams. What do you want to do when you grow up? They could be 70. What do you want to do when you grow up? And understanding what their dreams are is cool too. And that's exactly right. It's great for your notes. So you got database, notes, attached forward to notes. Thanks, Joseph, for that. And then the last one is follow-up, which we may have heard this before. Fortune's in the follow-up. Without follow-up, you aren't creating a business. You're creating like a list of names. That's all you're doing. So, and by the way, most agents fail on follow-up, which we love because that's where we will start taking market share. It's just following up with people. So when I said that for everybody, for the team or for anybody, what's a contact? They'd say database, notes, and a follow-up. Database, notes, and a follow-up. Yep, that's a contact. If you add them to your database, add notes, add a follow-up, you've made one contact. And that's kind of how we look at things. Even daily, people who are already in the database, great, that one's done. But we need to follow up with them and add new notes. That's going to count as a contact. Any questions on that? That's how database management started for me on the bigger picture. It took some years, but that's where we got to.
I don't want to interrupt anybody's questions, so y'all drop them in, raise your hand, but I do have a question to segue off of this. TCPA, Joseph said.
I have a problem with that because I have people in my database with all the rules and regulations now contacting people. I don't know what the hell to do anymore.
I reach out to them anyways. So one thing you'll probably learn about me super quickly is I live in the gray. I'm reaching out anyways, dude. And only until they say, hey man, like I'm on some protected list, don't call me. I'll say, oh, I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. And I won't. But I have had zero issues with that. Even in my CRM, it says that it's like a do not call this number. I'm like, okay, I still reach out. And only until they're like, what did you read the red writing on your database? Or they wouldn't know, but I've never had someone say, don't do it. Never, not one time, because they know you. Essentially, this is a warm lead play. I was going to talk about that. So these are people who know you and they know you. What? These are people you know and they know you. So it's extremely warm lead based. I used to do cold leads. I don't do cold leads ever anymore. So this is extremely warm lead based. If they are cold lead, then I will build a relationship with them before really starting to reach out to them on a consistent basis, which we're probably going to talk about shortly.
Yeah, for sure. So really quick, what criteria or what thought process goes behind determining if someone needs to stay in your database or get removed?
So imagine when a lawyer sells their business, what are they selling?
Their book of business.
Their book of business. If they were if they had thousands of people within their book of business or their database, do you think at any point in time they saw someone in that database and said, I better delete these people? Or do you think they just left them in there and just didn't follow up with them?
I'd say probably more naturally, they probably just left them in there and just didn't follow up with them.
Well, what are some of the reasons they would do that?
Because they may think like I can always get around to it another day, or, there may still be an opportunity in the future, or, bad habits of just being lazy and not cleaning it up,
Yeah, this is a good habit, I would say. And yeah, I know like team leaders do the pool, right? Reach out to the pool, which are the old leads. But if I were ever going to sell the business, I was a lawyer, #real estate agent too, pediatrician, just put the thing in there. If I want to sell a database, I want it to have the largest number possible. I don't want to delete anybody out of it. So you could look at the database, truly you should, as your business, as an asset that you could sell. Who has had their database appraised? You should do that. You should look into that. It's interesting. It will tell you how much your business is worth without adding in the assets that you might have, signs or whatever.
Right.
But just database stuff. And who knows what FinCon is? Who's ever been to FinCon or financial conference? Anybody been to FinCon? I found someone to appraise my database there. And this was probably 5 or 6 years ago. At that time, the database was worth $250,000. Just the database. And it's because we tracked everything. We had follow-ups. We had notes. There were people in there I didn't delete, of course. So imagine what your business could be worth if you were to sell it. But consistently you were deleting people out, right? You're kind of killing the asset that you may want to sell in the future. So don't delete people. Yes, Joseph, never delete, I would say.
That's a crazy, like, actual kind of perception on the situation, because when you think about it like that, it makes you not want to delete anybody.
Yeah.
If you think about it, man, we're not going to be, hopefully, there's a certain point where we have an exit strategy, everybody, and that's a part of the exit strategy, right?
Yeah. And imagine so the way that I built it back in the day was a VA would run it, but now AI is like really coming in. So maybe you mix VA and AI, but you can also turn your database into a rental, right? You can have leads come out of it, which we ran this play for years, have leads come out of it. The lead is passed to an agent that's hopefully in your downline. So you get rev share, stock, you get all the fun stuff. The lead gets passed. It's already agreed upon with said agent. You're going to get paid 30 or more % on that referral fee. And they already have the referral document. It says 30% with your signature. They do everything. So now it's a rental. Leads come out, someone breaks it or runs the deal, and you get paid a referral fee. So now you've turned this database into a rental instead of a flip. So you can't do any of this without a database.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and I think that rental concept is actually pretty intriguing, especially for the people that don't want to go like dive first into creating a team.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? They don't want the liability and all that.
I tried to create this does anybody know what Keller Williams is?
Yeah.
It's a small firm, but it's out there. Anyways, I came from Keller Williams. I was actually a team leader at Keller Williams and a productivity coach, blah, 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 blah. But I wanted to run that play there, but they decided it wasn't part of the 7-level system or the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, and I couldn't do it. But I just rebranded it called the PASS play, PASS, or Prospecting Automated Sales System. But it's a rental for your database. Yep. So we built it out.
That's actually pretty crazy. You know, once again, we were talking about before we actually started recording, like there's so many different ways to pivot in this business. And then just thinking about that right there, give somebody an out, you know, somebody that has a robust database that they don't understand. Like, how am I going to stop the grind of consistently selling? How am I going to be able to pull back without having to start a team, without having to, you know, actually sell my business? Maybe I do want to, you know, pick up during the summers or something like that. That's actually really crazy concept.
So we build it into a course and we sell it.
That's right. All right. So let me ask you this. What would you feel like is the most important categorization of your database? You know what I'm saying? Is there anything that you do to really help you navigate that database easier? Is it, you know, tagging people? Is it, you know, the notes that you set up? Like, what do you feel is the biggest distinguisher in your database when trying to categorize people?
The categorize. So if we need to send or understand maybe a certain demographic within our database, yes, tags, 100%. We make our own tags. There's obviously preset tags. Does anybody not know what a tag is within a CRM? Who's not using a CRM? Raise your
Anybody
hand.
still using Google Sheets? It's okay. Pen and paper.
Okay. Does anybody have questions on what a tag is? Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, it's just basically you just add a title to someone, and you can add titles to anyone. So you'll pull up clients, and your whole client list will pop up because you've tagged them within the CRM. So that's the easiest way. Yep, exactly.
Filter.
So if anybody has questions, please ask them in the comments. This isn't like school. You got to wait to raise your hand and all this stuff. Just go for it. Cause I want to maximize your time. So the biggest thing for us is just follow-ups. So every day I have about 50-ish people I'm going to reach out to every single day. This isn't for everyone, but I'll wake up at 4:15 in the morning. I'll get started to setting up my follow-ups are 100% text messages. I make 0 phone calls. It saves a ton more time, and it's easier to scale, at least in terms of communication for me. So I will set up all text messages in the morning from 4:30 to about 5:15. And then I'll wake up my daughter. I'll do like the dad thing, and then I'll work out, and then I'll come back and I'll start shooting text messages out around 9 during the summertime, but around 10 to 11 when it's school time. But every single time I open up my CRM, I'm gonna have tasks, and it's going to say who I'm reaching out to and why I'm reaching out to them. I'm reaching out to everyone for one of 5 things. So again, if you want to write this stuff down, I'll even give you how long in between each one of these follow-ups that I do. We don't do any drip campaigns. I get hell for that every time I go to a conference. They're like, what? That's crazy. We don't do any drip campaigns. 0. Who in here loves to be on someone else's drip campaign? Please raise your hand. Right.
Nobody.
Same. So that's why we don't do it. Who in here loves phone calls? Loves getting phone calls. We got Matthew. All right. We've had one person raise their hand out of the whole which there's always a market for phone calls, but that's why we moved to text messages as well, right? We started the market, started liking text and not drip campaigns. So back to it. Each person, I put Matthew into my, no, I'm not going to use Matthew. He likes phone calls. I'm not calling Keena. Keena and I are pretty awesome, and she loves text messages. So I'm going to set up follow-ups for her. There's 5 follow-ups that we'll set up per person intentionally. Now, this doesn't include birthdays, the day they passed that hard real estate exam, because we put real estate agents in there too. By the way, real quick, how many agents get out of the business in their 2nd year? Does everybody kind of know that number?
It's a
percent.
Yeah. It's, if anybody wants to answer it before I do.
90%. Yeah. So this, and the number may have changed a little bit, but it's about 88% is the last time I looked at it, or 9. Joseph, you know. So It is quite a few. So imagine putting 10 agents in your CRM, 9 of them get out of the business. Good job. You've been staying in communication with them, because guess who's going to get their leads, right? So we can get books of business without ever grabbing their book of business, right? So we always add agents, always, always, always. All right, backing up. It's not saying those type of birthdays, anniversaries, congratulations, a year ago, you got your real estate license. I'm excluding all that, although we do all that. But there are 5 things. Number 1, life update. So every single day we're reaching out to someone about a life update. How's your life? How's the kids? Ford, how's the family? How's the work? How's the kayaking? And how's that rapper career that you've always wanted? You know, whatever the dream was, we may touch on that. Or sometimes I just do, like, I call it a homie check-in. So it's like, homie check-in, how is life? Brother check-in, how is life? And obviously, especially in a military community, that's going to be important.
Yeah.
So doing that type of stuff, life updates, we do that about every few months. About every few months. So about every 2 months, we're going to do that. Every 2 months. How's life? Life update. Number 2, AFB, or ask for business. We're in real estate. We still got to ask for business. Anybody want to take a guess on how often we ask for business?
Every quarter.
We got every quarter.
Every time you make contact?
The time we make contact. And then after that, how long would we wait?
A week?
All right. Okay, hitting them every week. Got it. Who else? One more. Diana, I want to hear from you.
I was gonna say 3 months, but Caleb said it, so
My bad.
What'd she say? She broke up on my
Every
side.
3 months.
3 months.
3 what?
3 months.
3 months. I'm so sorry, Diana. And I'm on our internet went out, so I'm on a hotspot. So it's probably,
Oh man.
yeah, so it's probably me. Welcome to Fayetteville. The internet just goes out in random spots. But yeah, so 3 months. Okay, cool. So just for everyone here, we started off with every 3 months.
Okay.
What we started to know, or we started to see, was that people did not like it. They were like, yo, you just asked me, like, chill. So, okay. Then we moved to about every 9 months. Where we found the sweet spot is once a year.
Once a year, really?
Once a year.
Yeah.
We only ask for business once a year. Now you could move it down 9 to 12 months, I would say, around that spot, 9 to 12 months. For us, that's what we have seen. It works.
Yeah.
Our sweet spot is usually about 11 to 12 months. If you build a relationship with someone through this process, through life updates, you're getting to know them, they're going to remember you.
Yeah.
And so the call to action is, it's just because, I mean, you still got to ask for the business and remind them of that. Number 3 is, the third follow-up is talent. So we're always looking for talent. Obviously, we have a rev share model here at EXP, but also just for admin positions or whatever. Talent is extremely hard to find. Does anybody know the conversions to talent, meaning they're going to pull you? They're going to challenge you. You're not constantly pulling them and all that. Does anybody know the conversions?
Mm-mm.
A guesstimation. Anybody want to guess? Like how many people you'd have to go through to find one piece of talent?
I'd say maybe like 5%, or like quality talent, 5 to 10%, maybe. You know, so like 1 out of every 20, 1 out of every 10.
So I've heard it's 100 to 1.
1%.
1%. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to find someone who's pulling you. And if I look at our own downline, we have almost 280 people. There are probably a handful of agents, probably, that are really pulling some strings and really moving forward, right? So less than a handful that are really, really, really pushing. Like the AI guy I met today that's building a whole back end of stuff. There's nothing, I'm never in his life. He's just building and creating and doing some really cool stuff and just dragging me along with him.
Yeah.
That's talent. And that being said, we need to ask our database, hey, who do you know looking to get into real estate as a career or at another firm looking for more opportunity? And we do that. Anybody want to take a guess on how often we do that? We're asking for talent per person within our database.
So what do y'all think? I feel like this would be a little bit more consistent in frequency.
Okay.
Maybe twice a year.
Twice a year. Okay. One more guess.
Joseph, what do you think?
Well, I think if it's so hard to get the talent, then you should be reaching out a lot more than that. I mean, as much as possible, I'm thinking.
So we've not, and I apologize. These are the only few people I see on my screen. It says there's others, but I can't see their names. So if you're not getting your name called, don't think we hate you. We love you. I just can't see your name. Yeah. So we do it about every 9 months. About every 9 months.
Okay.
What it also does for the people who aren't licensed, because we'll ask licensed people too. What it does for the people who aren't licensed, it reminds them we're in real estate without asking them for business. And basically, it's like, hey, who do you know looking to get into real estate as a career or at another firm looking for more opportunity? We're growing and we need the help. And then they'll say, blah, blah, blah. And they'll say, awesome. We can do this in any state or anywhere around the world, not just North Carolina. To remind them that we can do this from anywhere. So we do that about every 9 months. So now we got life updates about every 2 months, asking for business once a year, talent about every 9 months, and we still have 2 more to go. So the fourth one is side hustle. Who in here has a side hustle outside of selling real estate? Something else that they sell. What is it?
What you got, Diana?
Mine's the typical Etsy t-shirts, cups. My husband does woodworking, so we all kind of put it together.
I love that. So imagine could Jordan sell a Ford Explorer?
Maybe.
100%. If he put his logo on the side of a Ford Explorer, someone's buying it because it's got Jordan's logo on it.
Exactly.
So imagine your business like that, right? There are going to be people who are invested in you. You're just selling real estate, which is awesome. They're going to be invested in you selling real estate, but if they know you do some woodworking too, it's cool to let your database know that, right? Depending on your side hustle is going to be how often you reach out to them to remind them.
Mm-hmm.
We have Airbnbs in the area, right? So we're reminding them, and we are highly transient, right? And right outside of Fort Bragg. So we're telling people all the time, especially agents within the database, hey, we got Airbnbs, it's PCS season. Who do you know? We're doing that as well. And anyone who has a side hustle, just know they're attracted to you. Yes, you sell real estate, but if you're a good person and you have other services or products, they're probably going to invest in you in that as well. We sell t-shirts. This is one of our t-shirts. I'm going to a school later to talk to students, and it's like something's greater than nothing type of conversation. So we sell these too. A lot of side hustle stuff. So we do want to remind our people that we have something else outside of real estate. It's just our Airbnb aligns very well, obviously. And then number 5 is it's called Meet, M-E-E-T. Meet, M-E-E-T. And this is what you could do anywhere, but it really hits home if you have clients who are local and that haven't moved out of your area, and meet with them, break bread with them. Remember that we're humans. Drink coffee with them, take them to a local business. Let's chat it up. We do that about every 6 months, depending on the person. So if they were really cool people, but they moved to Texas, then maybe you set up a Zoom or just a phone call. But COVID kind of messed up a lot of people to where they're like, I really want to get back to meeting people and like getting into these groups where we're just talking. And that's where we first built like Meet and just rubbing elbows people all over again. It's got a huge return. So we do those 5 follow-ups per person outside of anniversaries, their kids' birthdays, their dog's birthdays, or whatever else. These 5 we focus on extremely heavy.
So I did drop them in the chat for you guys, and Ron has his hand raised. You got a question, Ron?
Yeah, Ruben, I didn't hear how often you do that side hustle.
Side hustle depends on the side hustle. So for our Airbnbs, for agents in the area, we're doing about every 6 to 9 months. We're letting them know. And for everyone, we literally label agents and non-agents, which is other humans that aren't real estate agents. We're doing that about every 12 months. So we're not letting them know as much. But it really depends on like woodworking. I have no idea. Diana, how often would you tell people about woodworking and Etsy stuff?
I don't.
Right.
Usually,
If you did.
Yeah, like usually it just comes because someone on the team, like on my husband's company, is leaving, and it's like you said, contact. Someone just knows you for it. So we don't really do that, to be honest.
If
Maybe once or twice a year at most, just to kind of like bring it to the forefront, part of the drip campaigns that we do. It could be a sad conversation, adding it to that.
So what I would look at, Diana, and this is Ron, this is answering your questions because it is per product or service that you offer. For Diana, what I would look at is, when do people buy things for other people the most out of the year?
Well, the holidays and celebrating days like birthdays, anniversaries, and then specifically for real estate, it's closings.
Yep. So for agents, you could reach out and let them know probably every quarter to 6 months, like, hey, we got this sale, 10% off if you want to do this, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, heavy on like Christmas when people are buying gifts, and say, hey, we're always doing this. And during Christmas time, we got this Christmas sale. There's always, we can find these ways as long as we apply ourselves, that in the future where we find the most sale. If y'all want to scale, by the way, if you don't want to, like, if you go
Maybe once he gets out, but
right, my bad. Yeah.
When I was not working, so it worked very well in that. But now we're in 2 different states, so we have to manage until he gets out. So we
Understood.
had to, work around that.
Got it. So Ron, it just depends on the side hustle, and what the product or service that you're going to provide.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. And how often would you say the client meetups? We doing those once a quarter? I'm saying, I know there are some agents that really convert on their client events or just their meetups as a whole. How often would you say, if you want to get your feet wet with this, how often with the meetups?
I would do it. So the reason we don't do drip campaigns is because it feels very robotic.
Right.
Each person has a different personality. So are y'all familiar with the DISC assessment?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So drivers, and you got the high I's who are super excited and all the things. High S's, they're very much people. They want everyone to get along. They love people. High C's, which are compliance people, don't necessarily want to go out all the time. So maybe you're not really meeting with you're throwing the hand if they want to, about every 6 to 9 months, maybe. But a high I, someone who really fuels off 2 people hanging out and collabing or just conversating, maybe you're doing that every few months to every quarter, because those are also the people who are hitting the field and talking to other people a lot.
Yeah.
So you may get you pay $20 for lunch or whatever, but the return on that's going to be huge, and you get the write off the lunch. So really look at your people when you're building this follow-up list of how often you should follow up with said person, depending on their personality type.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. One thing that I wanted to ask earlier in the conversation, what I want to touch on, just to give a little bit more context, what CRM are you using right now, Ruben?
Yeah, so I was using what everyone else was using, which was called KV Core at the time. And then they were like, okay, before they said, okay, cool, choose one of 3 or choose your 3 or whatever cool quote they came out with. I was like, I'm tired of KV Core. I'm going to go buy my own. And I did right before they rolled out. So I'm on Brevity right now. I wish I would have just chose Lofty or something afterwards, but here we are. Now I got $200 a month in the Brevity, and it costs some money to have a VA transfer everything from one CRM to another.
It's a process.
It's a whole process. So I'm with Brevity, but that's before they made the rollout choice. So
okay. All right. And let me ask you this, right? We got about 15 more minutes in. So guys, if you have questions, we want to get them answered. I'm going to start rattling off some questions to get some more value in here. Okay. If you lost your entire database tomorrow, Ruben, what would be the first thing you do to rebuild?
I already know, but I feel like I want to ask this question too. Where does most people's contacts live if you lost your old database? Where do most of your contacts live? Yeah, I would easily start with this bad boy. I would just start at A and run through Z. It's very, very, very easy. Very easy. I would start there.
All right. Sounds like a plan. And how often do you feel like either yourself or agents should follow up with a new internet lead in the first 30 days?
So we do anybody familiar called a 7-day Anybody familiar with a 7 days of pain? Anybody hear this? Yeah, we got Diana. So I'm going to beat them up for 7 days. Every single day. I was just talking to one of our agents before this, and he was showing me a lead. It took 4 messages to finally get, and it was a phone call, text, email was the first one, and then text until he finally answered. So cold leads are tough, right? We even run 7 days of pain on our warm leads, because if you don't have your phone with you, who else in your household may have your phone swiping away every notification in the world? Anybody know? It's your kids.
Yeah.
Right. If your kids, they're like, swipe, whatever. I have it. So that happens, right? And especially in a military town, people are in the field. So you just never really know. We run 7 days of pain on everyone, especially cold leads. But then you can go a step further. So let's say we start on Monday, we end on Sunday. Yeah, exactly. We start on Monday, we end on Sunday. That's the 7 days. What we will do to take a step further, we'll wait a week, reach out that next Sunday after that. We'll wait a week, reach out that next Sunday after that. Wait a week and reach out that next Sunday after that. So 7 days of pain, and essentially you run the next 3 weeks once a week for the next 3 weeks. So you ran a whole month on this person. If they don't answer, we don't delete them. Of course, we talked about that, but we will take them off follow up, and then they go in the pool.
Okay. And then so with them, when they slide into the pool, what does that follow-up cadence look like when you're not using drip campaigns?
You can use drip campaigns then. So we definitely use drip campaigns on people. Oh, this is going to sound bad, that we don't care about.
Yeah.
We have no relationship with them. We've tried reaching out. We still want to touch them somehow. There's drip campaigns for that. But if we know them, we love you. Like we have a really good relationship with you. You're welcome to the club of no drip campaigns. It's more of a relationship. It's a CRM stands for contact relationship management. So we're building a relationship instead of putting them on drip campaigns.
Okay. And what would you say is the biggest mistake agents make when following up the leads that is not just following up? So any other mistake that they make,
right?
Because obviously the biggest mistake is just not picking up the phone and calling.
100%, or setting up a follow-up in general is, I think, has anybody heard of commission breath?
Yes.
It's like, hey, they're like, hey, what's up, man? You're like, hey, who do you know looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? And they're like, I'm at the grocery store. It's like, I just want to grab my tomatoes and get out of here.
Yeah.
And it's constant, dude. They're constantly, hey, who do you know looking up, or do you know anybody, or are you looking to sell? After a while, I mean, nobody likes that from anyone. We're all getting text messages from salespeople, and I would say, like, especially our generation, we were sold. Our whole generation, like commercials to billboard, like it was an influx of constantly being sold, magazine covers, waiting in line to buy something. We're sick. We're way over that. And so I think it's hit a lot of people so hard they'll smell it from a mile away. That's why they call it commission breath. So I would say do not lead with sales, lead with a relationship.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Now, in your opinion, right, this is strictly opinion, how many conversations or new contacts a day do you think an agent would need to do if they have the goal of wanting to achieve, a high 6-figure income?
5 to 10.
5 to 10.
So yeah, I had an agent reach out, and I'm only saying 5 to this person because they're extremely new, but they really need to pump up to probably 10 contacts a day. You could do it. Anybody could do it. You got to find the time within your calendar to do it. Which calendar building is a whole other thing. But yeah,
we'll have
5
to
to
get
10.
All right. And so
I'll teach it.
Yeah. Okay. So imagine everybody here, they took the value, they took the words today and they implemented it and it worked out, right? And it was a success. They're getting the business rolling. How do you stay consistent with this follow-up during the busiest times of the year?
So when is the world the quietest the most? When is the world the quietest?
Like my first gut reaction wants to say like the winter. Guys, what do y'all think? But then you got like the holidays. So it's like
during the day. Sorry, guys. I messed that one up. During the
day.
day, when is the world the quietest? During the day. Y'all like January. For sure, by the way. Fourth and first quarter are traditionally the hardest quarters in real estate?
I would say the quietest during the day is probably right before break or right around breakfast, or maybe right after lunch. What would
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think stuff starts hitting the fan in my world around like 10 or 11 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so how do I accomplish my big rocks? If we know, who knows the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of your activities drive 80% of your results. Great. If 80% of my results, I want sales and money, I need to generate leads in order for that to happen, which is my 20%. Cool. When is the world the quietest? When everyone's sleeping. And for me, it's 4:30 in the morning. I set up all my text messages that need to go out. It takes me about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the day, maybe an hour. And then I let them all send out once I get back from the gym and I can start communicating with people. I would say to stay very consistent in the morning, to reach out to these people. Everything you want is on the other side of a person. So you need to talk to people.
Right.
I'm going to do that early in the morning to where my daughter's sleeping, everyone's sleeping, the world feels like it's sleeping. And then you kind of get this cool, if you follow me on Instagram, by the way, Proven by Ruben, you're going to see in the morning, it's Beat the Sun. I'll put Beat the Sun at 4:45 or whatever, because I'm telling you guys, if you focus on doing that and moving your big rocks or your 20% before the world wakes up, this business gets so much easier.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting to where the world's blowing up and you're like, I still got 5 people to reach out to. No, dude, you're too late, man. You could do that in the beginning, but later, please start locking it into your calendar to do it earlier. That's what I would say.
And I love that, man, because especially for a guy like me, like I'm a night owl. Like I'll stay up. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was working on the AI back end for our transaction coordinators until 4 o'clock yesterday morning or this morning. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and then waking up at 8:30, ready to rock and roll. But man, to be able to shift it into being an early bird and being able to have a more focused, because when I'm staying up all night, working, like it's not peak work, right? It's just like I'm knocking out tasks.
Yeah.
To be able to switch that to being an early bird where I'm actually having a more focused, effort. I feel like that's really where it's at, man. So I definitely can agree with that.
The world's fresh too. Like it feels very fresh versus the end of the day. You're carrying the weight of the whole day. You're right. It's more of a task thing, but in the morning, there's something fresh. You just woke up. It's very fresh. Your mind's moving. It's just much easier to knock out the work. And I will say, when I worked at UPS, I worked nights. So it definitely took some adjusting, but it was worth the adjustment.
Hell yeah. All right. So last question, or not really question. Last thing I want to pick your brain about before we get you out of here, Ruben, is so guys, obviously you hear the way Ruben carries himself. He has definitely built a very successful business. One thing that I find so intriguing about Ruben and what he's doing currently is he's decided to step into the foray of social media. Okay. Creating really relatable, hilarious content that kind of bridges that gap between what we do every day to what the consumer sees. Right. And so one thing I find so cool about that is Ruben doesn't need to do social media, but he does it. And I want to know why. Ruben, can you break it down for us? What really made you decide to jump into that? Was it more just to make real estate fun again for you? Was it to meet people where they're at? What was kind of like the idea behind that? Because you're doing it consistently and you're doing it great.
Well, I'm doing it consistent because it's living on the calendar, right? Who's heard of it's on your calendar, it doesn't exist. And then I do it with others, right? So if I don't show up, I'm letting others down, which was a big game changer. There's another quote that I love, and I tell the team this is create, don't consume.
Okay.
Create, don't consume. So on social media, obviously it's designed for you to consume and you'll get stuck scrolling. So we do talk a lot about just creating content, but not consuming content because it could be a trap. So create, don't consume. No, we enjoy it. Not only do we get leads from it, if you kind of look at it like real estate, it's real estate on the internet. And as somebody searches you, they're going to want to see your resume. And right now, well, outside of ChatGPT, or any AI platform, who's gotten leads off AI?
I got one, but I showed him one house, and I'm not too sure how it's going to go. It's crazy. It's a little weird.
Yeah. Well, I got one too, man. So we know that that's where it's going, but I think AI is obviously pulling from not only Zillow, but all the social media and all the content. So you got to really get ahead of that. But people, when they look you up, man, they'll know you, but they also want to make sure that you're doing what you said you're doing, which is real estate. So they're going to go on your social media and check you out. And that was a big reason when I first started was, I need to start building a resume. I only got onto social media for real estate. If I went in real estate, I would probably wouldn't have social media.
Yeah.
But it is a great source of showing the world what you do, which will in turn bring in leads, especially for listings, if they're seeing you're doing house tours and all the fun stuff. And if you're not sure where to start, who knows what R&D means?
I built my career off of it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You should. There's a quote that goes, success leaves clues. So just pick up the dang clues, man. Rip off and duplicate. Rip off and duplicate. And that's exactly what I've done with social media. I stole everything. I am not this beautiful mind that's created. No, I've taken everything. I might sprinkle a little bit of my flavor, but most of this stuff has been taken from another agent. Even my YouTube channel, I copied, what's his name? LASIK?
Levi.
Yep. I took everything. I took his description. I copy pasted. I put in my. I didn't. Yeah. I made nothing, guys. And you guys could do the same. Just take everything. That's what I would say.
And I would imagine, you know, because how I got started in my social media was just educational content. Like, I don't need to be funny. I don't need to be, you know, nothing too in depth. Like, let me speak about what I know already in front of a house. Right. Yeah. It can be super simple. And I would imagine, Ruben, you know, tell me if I'm wrong, with your past clients, your database, seeing these videos naturally, does it make that outreach a little easier? Are you seeing like sometimes they're even reaching out to you now when they're commenting and it segues into those conversations?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got this one, you know, oh man, y'all don't judge me for this. It says something like, when I start selling more homes, I won't say anything, but there will be signs. Yeah. And I turn the corner and I stuff like a hoodie into my pants. And I got these big butt cheeks, like I bought implants. It looks ridiculous. And it was silly to do. But now I have people reaching out to me and they're like, where's that booty? I'm like, get out of here, you fool. I should have done that. I need to delete that video. But yeah, for sure. It makes it easier. It makes it fun. It does make it fun. But on the business side, we get leads from it. It is real estate on the internet and it will become your resume. Yeah.
I love it. All right, guys, as we wrap up and we get out of here, does anyone have any questions? Do you feel like there was anything that you came into this conversation with that you feel like maybe wasn't touched on? Anything at all you may want a little bit more clarity on? Anybody? Miss Kena, I know it's early in the morning over there. Anything? Okay.
No, I thought it was great. And Ruben, I think I knew you from your past life. I was just there.
Oh, that scares me.
I've been here a month. I've been at EXP for a couple days over a month now.
Oh, really?
Love to hear it, man.
Dude, that's awesome.
It's a small world.
It is. What are maybe some things that you guys have learned here today that you feel like you're going to use in your business, or that was just an aha for you?
I'm adding mine to the chat.
For me, I would say the follow-up change, because I do think a lot more people respond in the way that you do the follow-up that you said. So maybe implementing that a little bit more with a little bit more of a built-in around the schedule versus just doing it every 30 days.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say, you're going to do it so often. I have a calendar built that has, so I only do this Monday through Thursday heavy. Friday, I allow myself about 10 to 15 follow-ups. So it's kind of my quote unquote off day. But I have a calendar that every follow-up that's set up, let's say December 1st, I'm going to put a number on December 1st, adding one more follow-up. So you're going to look at the calendar and you're going to see that you have a consistent follow-up throughout the weeks versus you just setting follow-ups willy-nilly. And then you find you go to your task the next day and there's 400 follow-ups. You're like, how did this happen? It's almost evenly spread because you're tracking where your follow-ups are going per day throughout the year. And your work day is almost flat of how many people you have to reach out to versus an extreme amount to not really anyone. That helps out a ton too.
I understand exactly the way you say it because we also use riveting. So
Mm,
the way it stacks is like you said,
crazy.
it's very up and down. And
Yeah,
if
but
you're
we can
not
control
physically
that.
doing it manually,
Yep.
then you're gonna see those days where they're much higher in tasks versus others.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So you got to track it on. We do our own calendar, but yeah, you got to track that stuff. 7 days of pain is crazy. Yep.
Yeah. I'm saying I didn't really like, obviously you understand the concept of forward, but to actually have the acronym and to actually, be intentional about that, I think that was a good nugget for me.
Yeah.
100%.
Sick.
I
Okay.
got something like with Keller Williams. You talked about Keller Williams. They had to do the database, and then they had to do the database twice. And they started like with the A's and the Z's, and they did so many till they made sure they contacted the whole database.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a little inconsistent because how many Z's you got? You know,
I can always use more Z's.
we need more Z's. Oh, that's a t-shirt. But how many A's do you and B's? You got a ton, so we would set the follow-ups within that calendar to allow us to build like this streamline. We knew exactly approximately how many people we're reaching out to every single day. And we know it takes about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to do so.
Okay. Well, Ruben, thank you so much for your time. I definitely want to bring you back for a calendar building because time blocking is another it's a skill at this point, right?
Yep.
So, guys, I dropped it in here. I'm gonna go ahead and pin it so y'all can follow Ruben on all his socials. It's Proven by Ruben, Instagram, Facebook. He really is making some crazy funny content right now. It's super relatable, especially to us real estate agents. You'll be able to follow his journey, how he's building his downline, how he's growing his team and everything like that. Guys, once again, I want to reiterate, we have moved our trainings to every Tuesday now, so I get to see you beautiful people every single week. Next week, we have another great training coming up. We're going to be posting it in the group chat with the details and the link to join, okay? Y'all have a blessed week. If y'all need anything at all, never hesitate to reach out, and let's get those deals closed. Thank you, Ruben.
Thanks, y'all.
You so much.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you guys
Appreciate
for
it.
pulling up. All right.
Bye, y'all.